It's Christmas at Paddington Station, and staff are preparing for one of the busiest times of the year on the rail network. In the run-up to the Christmas holidays, thousands of extra passengers will pass through the station.
Base 2, Bravo 4, Bravo 6, Ollie.
High above Paddington's concourse, Station Control Assistant Graham Parker is watching over the great Christmas getaway.
Christmas has well and truly arrived at Paddington. The passengers are looking a little bit more positive than regular. Obviously, some of them are going up to see their families, which is what most people are doing at Christmas. And it's obviously our job at Network Rail is to get people where they need to go and where they want to go at Christmas.
Instant controller, chase begin.
But this year, there'll be extra pressure during the Christmas getaway, as Network Rail takes the opportunity to roll out major engineering works right across Paddington's route.
Swing control into instant controller fill. Hello training signal pad. So we've got massive engineering works this year. Well, two things. We've got Crossrail, so there'll be lots and lots of re-signalling, new points put in. We've got the ongoing electrification work, which will be carrying on apace all through the route.
Paddington will close a day earlier than normal and remain shut for 4 days rather than the usual 2.
Heathrow Express, can you buy a ticket on the train?
You can, but then there will be an extra charge, sir.
How much is that?
And with no services on Christmas Eve, the big getaway will be more crowded and stressful than usual. And customer advisor Maksud Chaiwala just hopes that everyone gets the message.
We will be shutting from the 23rd. It's going to cause us some problems, but it's all well advertised, you know, on websites. We got several notices put up on the station saying these works are happening. Even on Christmas and Boxing Day, especially Boxing Day, there are a lot of people who come to the station looking to catch a train.
Excuse me, we'd like some information about Christmas closures. No problem.
And they're pulling out all the stops to make sure no one turns up at Paddington on Christmas Eve expecting to get a train.
We make a big effort to give people as much information as we can about Christmas work, so people are generally prepared for the disruption.
Do you want to bring your reindeer in
On
now?
the concourse, Joe Porter is on a mission to highlight the planned Christmas disruptions, and he's about to unleash his secret weapon.
Hello there.
All right.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. What we're going to do, just going to walk down. We've got some colleagues down there. Just going to keep the crowd away till you get inside the pen.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay? Oh, I'll get out of your way. There you go. Oh, sigh of relief. Yes, definitely. You'll be surprised how quickly the crowd build up around there now. Obviously, it's not something they're very used to inside a station. You'll find after a while they'll settle down, the reindeer, and just as if they're in a normal habitat.
Meet Reindeer, Bubble and Prime, and alongside them, Casper the Owl.
There we go.
And the animals are already working their magic.
It's not often a child will get the opportunity, obviously, to handle for the owl and all that, which is nice. Something different for the kids and the families. What time are we looking at getting them up and running?
As quickly as possible.
You all right? Are you winning? This is a snow globe. Obviously, once it's all up and running, there'll be an opportunity for customers, any children, to go inside, have their photos taken. It's advertising our Christmas works, just so our customers know what disruptions there'll be over the Christmas period. Here you go, sir. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
This year's Christmas engineering works will be some of the most extensive ever. 260 projects across the network, costing close to £160 million.
Obviously, people at home with their families celebrating Christmas, it gives Network Rail a good opportunity to try and get work done project-wise.
The countdown to Christmas is well underway, and to help passengers get in the festive mood, a special guest has been invited to Paddington.
We don't get many steam trains at Paddington, but this one's like a special, taking people to Bath for the Christmas celebrations. One of the issues that we have with steam trains is it affects our fire alarm system on the station.
With the fire alarm switched off, passengers on Platform 1 are treated to a rare sight and a throwback to a bygone era. The Paddington station of Isambard Kingdom Brunel, built by the great engineer over 150 years ago.
Always lovely to see a steam train this time of year, Christmas. The main thing for me is that they didn't set all the station fire alarms off. With all the smoke detectors, they've all had to be isolated so that we don't get an evacuation. So that's the main thing for me.
Letting off steam on the concourse is one passenger who's perhaps enjoyed a bit too much of the Christmas spirit.
I just love this guy. Why? Because he's what London needs, a hardcore, slam-down police officer.
Pleased to meet you.
God bless you.
God bless you too.
God bless you. And my name's Des.
Generally, we don't have much trouble. It's just like fun. We do have like a lot of mess around, you know, people vomiting and stuff like that. So we just got to be on top of it. Ensure cleaners attend to it as quickly as they possibly can.
On the platforms, they're dealing with one of the first casualties of the Christmas party season.
We just noticed a female who looked rather upset on platform 10. So we've gone over to speak to her. We've got a suspicion that she might have taken something. She's got the smell of alcohol in her breath too, so at this moment in time we've called for an ambulance just for her welfare. Yeah, this time of year we get quite a lot of that. Christmas parties coming out, people taking stuff that they wouldn't normally, or you know, alcohol. Taking too much, getting too sociable with friends. So yeah, it's quite common.
Up in the station's control room, Graham is keeping a close eye on the situation through closed-circuit cameras.
We actually now have paramedics on site with this person, so obviously it might be a little bit worse than we originally thought. This does happen every now and then. Obviously, it's not a nice time of year to need any medical assistance. Well, no time of year is a good time, but Christmas is even worse.
Just for a bit of privacy, we've put a screen up. She's clearly quite upset and distressed. We don't want people being nosy, taking films and all that kind of stuff.
Looking at our CCTV of the area where the person is, with the paramedics and the police, it looks as though they're taking care of the situation and they're preparing to actually move her on out of Paddington Station.
While paramedics deal with the first Christmas casualty, in the control room, Richard Douglas is receiving another emergency call. But this time, it's much more serious.
Going to need an ambulance, possible heart attack, age 54, conscious and breathing at the moment.
Okay, so you need an ambulance. There's a male, 54, believed to be having a heart attack.
As station staff go to the aid of the ill man, Richard calls 999.
Emergency service?
Yeah, could I have an ambulance, please? London Paddington Station, yes. Yes, please. Patient's breathing, yes. Patient is awake. One of our first aid gentlemen is with a passenger who is managed to sat on a bench but believes they're having a heart attack, has severe chest pain. Can you have got a reference number, please? 48, okay. Will that be a blue light situation?
Yeah, you're setting up on the 14.
Right. Right, okay, all right then. Okay, bye-bye. It's 2 hours. 2 hours for an based at Alpha 5. 2 hours.
Yeah, 5 receiving.
Yeah, Ross, could you give me a call in the control room, please?
Alpha 2 Alpha 5, Ross. Just from us, making your way downstairs, mate.
The news of a possible 2-hour delay is relayed to staff.
Because the information they've got is just that the condition is one's just chest pain. It's not really showing the full symptoms as you would expect for a cardiac issue. If he's not well, you can't leave him out there for up to 2 hours in the freezing cold.
How are you feeling now?
Not bad.
Don't worry.
With such a long waiting time for an ambulance, Richard doesn't want to take any chances and sends a passenger buggy to take the man to the first aid room.
Should the casualty situation change, we've got equipment and first aid trained staff in the room there to keep an eye on it.
Bravo.
So I've liaised that information to the ambulance service. So We've got the rest of security keeping an eye out for arrival, so hopefully it won't be the full 2 hours, but I guess we don't know. If it's busy in London, then unfortunately it could be that length of time. Base 2 Alpha radios. Please advised, we have an ambulance on call. If you could keep an eye on the taxi deck and on the arrivals road, the casualty has been moved to the Network Rail reception on platform 1.
But this medical emergency is about to get more complicated than Richard could have imagined.
Yeah, that's right, chest pain. It's chest pain, so we're not sure if it's a cardiac issue or not, so he's been moved to our first aid room. Yeah, he's in our reception room. We're waiting on an ambulance. Yeah, he's in the VIP area in the first aid.
Bravo, 12 to base.
So I mean, if this is the same gentleman, we'll get BTP to go down. I'll give you a call back in a minute. I'll get a description from the first aid room, and I'll come back to you in a minute. Yeah, all right, mate. Cheers. Bye. They reckon that bloke was the guy who's claiming of chest pain was in the ticket hall of the Hammersmith City line earlier, headbutting the walls, and apparently he assaulted a female passenger, but she couldn't wait to make an allegation because she had to get a child. So it's potentially the same guy.
The man is now wanted by British Transport Police. But before Richard has time to relay the new information to the team on the ground, there's an update from the station's medical room.
We investigating, he's just having a panic attack, nothing more than that. So we're getting a glass of water, told him to relax here, and he wanted an ambulance, so we called the ambulance for him. After relaxing, he just got up and just walked away from us. So he didn't want the ambulance, he don't want first aid no more, and just left the station.
The patient, now turned suspect, has gone missing. But it's a serious incident, and Richard can't just let it go.
Bravo.
Right, okay, can you get a description of this bloke? I'm going to pass it to the BTP. This guy was in the ticket hall, City earlier, headbutting the walls, and apparently assaulted a female passenger, but she couldn't stay to making a complaint. And they're pretty sure it's the same bloke. So if it is, then we'll get BTP to keep an eye out for him. All right, cheers, bye, mate. So he's now wandered off from reception. He just got out and walked off. London ambulance, please. Yes, I am.
With no sign of the patient on the concourse, Richard calls off the ambulance.
So I'm calling from the Network Rail control room at Paddington Station. We'd like to cancel this ambulance. It turns out that apparently this gentleman was causing issues on the underground earlier, and he's now decided to walk off from he just got up and left our first aid room. So we're going to pass this on to the police because it sounds like this chap might be slightly troubled. All right, thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah, based at Alpha Radios, just regarding the ambulance, that's been stood down. Gentleman no longer requires the ambulance, so no ambulance required. So I'm going to get a description of him. I'll pass it to the police and let them take it from here.
Across on platform 10, Maqsood is dealing with another incident. With no trains on Christmas Eve, the holiday getaway service is being squeezed and trains are busier than usual.
It'll be fine now. I can get a buggy. Yeah, where are you trying to get to?
A woman is feeling faint and Maqsood is doing what he can to make her life easier.
You know, normally we're not allowed to do this, but I'll take you up the ramp and it's easy to get. We had this young girl who fainted on the train because of it being very hot. And she must have felt weak and she just fainted as she got off the train.
Thank you very much.
All right.
You don't need our tickets.
No, don't worry about it. The train driver who was there is an ex-paramedic. And luckily he spoke to her and checked her out. She was fine.
Quick thinking has saved the day, but on the other side of the station, it's already too late. A passenger has just dumped an early and unwrapped present on the train at platform 11.
a passenger took a massive poo. I don't know how big we're talking about, but large enough to offend at least 7 cleaners. The 17:45 departure to Reading is what it's on. The cleaners unable to clean it up here. I'm not seeing the damage, I don't know how bad it is, but we're sending it to Reading as an early Christmas present, where the Reading train care depot can deal with the problem. So that train's going to be 5 carriages long. The front 2 in passenger service, the rear 3 locked the poo in. All smell, stench and everything bad in the rear, out of the way of the passengers. But it does mean that anybody on that train, which is quite busy during rush hour, is only going to have 2 carriages long instead of 5. I believe this is considered vandalism.
Whoever did it is long gone.
So it's quite disruptive. It's quite a disruptive shift. But I guess you gotta go. Oh.
Anyone travelling over Christmas?
It's all go too, 40 miles down the track at Reading Station.
Anyone travelling over Christmas?
Reading Station is an important hub on the Western route, and while it won't be closed for as long as Paddington, it will have severely curtailed services.
Rail 99 to rail 1 over.
And that is going to cause extra stress for everybody.
So you can imagine people are coming from local routes into Reading. Obviously they're quite in a panic stage because they want to make sure they get their next train. And then when they go on the escalators, obviously with their luggage, unfortunately that's when things do happen. You guys want to come see the reindeer? That's the only way you're going to get to London this Christmas because we have no services.
Reading is also a hub for travellers heading to Heathrow and Gatwick, and Casper and friends are once again on hand to spread the message.
So far, no one's come out asking, what's going on. So I think we've really got that message out to customers who use Reading Station. I guess the key message is check before you travel. So we are trying to encourage customers to travel ideally before the 23rd of December or by 24th of December at the very latest.
Back at Paddington, the worst of the Christmas getaway rush is over, and the station is now counting down to when it closes for 4 days of engineering works.
The busy, crazy amounts of crowd have gone, so that's pretty much the end. Everyone has pretty much got to where they're going to.
But as Paddington begins to shut down, out on the tracks, activity is beginning to ramp up. 70 miles away in Oxford, signalman Phil Allen is beginning to clear the tracks of trains so that an army of railway workers can get to work on a vital 4-day engineering project.
Oxford panel signaller.
They'll be pulling up old rails and replacing them with a whole new track system that will speed up the train service around Oxford.
We have a procession tonight. All lines, whole Oxford area, from Higsea right through to Wolvercote Junction. I'll be expecting a call from the Pike Up, that's the person in charge of possession, shortly to go through the possession limits. There's no trains on Christmas Day and Boxing Day, so hence they're taking full advantage. 077.
As Phil manoeuvres the last trains off the tracks, a team of workers led by construction manager Rick Scott are getting ready to start pulling up the old rails.
The start of the job is slow going. You've got the men down there on site now. They're starting to prep, burners down there cutting the rail, they're prepping, and then everything else is prep, i.e. like the trains getting in position, getting the machinery in position, ready to start work.
Back at Paddington, the last trains of the night before the station's 4-day shutdown are getting prepared for departure.
Where are you going to?
To Slough.
Your train will be advertised soon. These are the last 2 trains now, the midnight 30 and 1 o'clock. Until the 28th of December because of planned engineering works.
Train leaves in 5 minutes.
Shift station manager Kevin Noon is making sure that everybody gets on board, and it seems that most have got the message about the Christmas shutdown.
Very quiet night, particularly for the last Saturday before Christmas. 3 pigeons over there, that's the biggest group we've got at the minute. Looks like it might well be our last group of people coming for the 1 o'clock departure.
Kevin and his staff have helped over 200,000 people on their way during the past 2 days. But there's always room for a few more.
You're right, you got over a minute, you're all right.
You got a minute, guys?
Right, lads, you've got 30 seconds, guys, come on. 30 seconds, you're all right, you'll get on. You're okay, you'll get on, don't worry, you don't need to run.
But others have left their Christmas getaway to the last second, literally.
Go on, quickly, quickly. Go on, it's about to go, so go on. That's it now, that's the last one. Luckily, the last few people seem to have made it, although I think we've got a couple more, unfortunately, who haven't made it, so we've got to make the decision, bus, taxi, or wait till Thursday. Merry Christmas.
70 miles up the line at Oxford, it's a hive of activity. Engineers are preparing for one of the most important projects of this year's Christmas works. They'll be laying a whole new track system. It's a tightly timetabled schedule, and construction manager Rick Scott is only too aware of the cost of not hitting his targets.
One part gets delayed or anything like that, there could be a knock-on effect, and then when it should be handed back 4:45 Wednesday morning, it could overrun the possession, and the trains you've got no trains running.
But just getting the work trains that will carry out the heavy lifting into position is a complex task. Oxford signalman Phil Allen is overseeing the train manoeuvre.
I have 2 engineering trains, both currently in the yard, which is down here. At some point they'll let me know when they're ready and I'll get them to their allocated positions, and once they're in position, that's when I'll give the engineers the permission to place their protection.
Well, what will happen is the supervisor behind me, he will be in control of that train. The driver has got a radio, and Ian's got a radio, and he will be in contact with that driver at all times. He will also let the staff know down on site that the train will be manoeuvring towards him.
First possession train in Hinksey calling me, so let's have a word with him and see what he wants. I'm popular. You ready to go then? Okay, drive, you wait that signal, I'll get you on the move very shortly. Thank you, bye-bye. Okay, first train ready to go. Okay, we're in business. 5.
And once this one's in the yard and shut down, then everything's done. We're completely finished until the 27th. So happy Christmas to everyone.
Yeah, man, you mate, thanks for that, cheers.
For these railway workers, the family Christmas is on hold. The countdown to complete the works before trains run again has begun.
And my Christmas will start in a couple of days' time. And it's midnight Christmas Eve, and we've got another 3 days of this. People don't actually see what goes on the railway. Christmas time, we're out here, leading our loved ones out here to do the works, get a new track put in place and upgrading the railway for the infrastructure. And people don't understand. They don't understand it. They don't understand. They just see late running of engineers' works and complaints on the Monday morning or Wednesday morning, whenever that possession's got to be handed back.
The first and most important work train to manoeuvre into position is the Kirov crane, a multi-million-pound lifting machine that can transport and lay over 100 tons of track at a time.
Heavy lifters, they can lift some loads.
The Kirov is critical to the Oxford job, but as it moves out of the station, it suddenly loses power and grinds to a halt.
Do you know what it is, Ian? What? You know when because that's a network rail machine, you know when it goes on can, it locks out, that's what's happened. All right, so it's all right now, mate, yeah? All right, so they should be on the move shortly. Oh, nice one, cheers, Gav. Cheers, bud, bye.
The crane can't deal with the cant or the curve of the track, but a quick reset of the computer and it's good to go.
That one's too temperamental. What he's saying is it was on the can and it's just locked out, so they've resolved it, so it's nothing major. It was just probably sensors or something on the machine that actually stops it from doing anything while it's on canty track.
The Kirov heads to the work site, and Rick's tight schedule is back on track.
It doesn't go to plan all the time. That is one nightmare scenario. If that had failed and there was no repair to it, that would have been major.
It's early morning on Christmas Day, and Paddington is quiet. Besides an occasional lost tourist and a few pigeons making the most of the empty concourse. Although there's no train service for the next 3 days, control room assistant Richard Douglas still has to watch over the station.
The guys are still out doing their security checks every hour and just kind of radioing those in just to say that all's clear. And every now and again, if they spot someone wandering around, we are challenging them and getting them to leave the station.
And while it's relaxed at the station, he's well aware of the urgency out on the tracks.
This isn't just bog standard rail replacement. We're talking, taking bridges down, lifting bridges, relaying complete new track beds, new cabling, new points, miles and miles of sections all in one go. One bunch of guys will be doing one bit of work, then another set of guys will come to do the next bit, and the next bit, and the next bit. If one part of that process fails or becomes bogged down, then it just snowballs. Because you're pulling up all the tracks and points, you just can't leave it for, say, right, we'll come back next week and do it. Christmas is the only time that we can actually get in there. It's really important that they stick to time on this stuff. It's critical.
80 miles down the main line at Swindon, another part of the huge Christmas engineering project is well underway. Engineer David Brown and his team are preparing the Western route for its transition to electric trains.
We're at Swindon Station here, Christmas Day, putting up some of the steelwork for the electrification project. Got a lot of work to do in a short space of time to get this project finished. The railway's shut for sort of 54 hours during Christmas, so this is a great opportunity for us to get loads of work done.
They're erecting structures called booms that will support the new overhead electric cables.
We're going to be putting up approximately 30 booms over the next couple of days. There's varying sizes, some are smaller than others. We've got some massive 56-metre booms going up as well, so a lot of work to do.
Basically prepping the booms now, so there'll be a bracket either end. We land the boom on top, and then we'll put a bracket on top to basically clamp it on. We're installing portal booms that range between 10 to 15, so significant weights that we're lifting at height. But we've set the crane up now with the outriggers and stabilised it. Once that's set, we prep the boom. It's got the slings on, as you can see behind me. Basically, the linesman then will sling it up, connect it, and then it'll be a lift up.
But as the work progresses, they come up against a problem that might blow the schedule right off track.
We've got people on tack line, so if it's windy, it's a safe lift. The crane controllers or the supervisor will test it before the lift. So you've got it on a monitor, approximately 22 miles per hour, the maximum.
Back in Oxford, they're also up against something that's going to hold up their work schedule.
We've got to stop at 3 o'clock for the Queen's speech for half an hour, which was the agreement with the local residents. So we don't disturb everybody.
And it's not the only delay that signalling delivery manager Paul Tate and his team have had to accommodate.
Yeah, we had to delay the start at 11 o'clock this morning to make provision for there's lots of churches along the area here. So we spoke to the local council again, and they agreed that we could start work after 11, as most of the church services are finished.
Their Christmas Day task is to install the foot piles, which will provide the support to erect new signal gantries.
Bit wonky, mate. Right, so how long's this pile? 6 metre? And we just go to rail height, innit? Wow.
And it's a noisy business.
This is a Movac piling machine. This is a lot quieter, you can tell, from the other piling machine which drives here. This is via propane.
Vibrations produced by the Movac machine liquefy the surrounding earth and prevent soil from gripping the piles, allowing it to sink easily into the ground.
Put the first pile in for gantry 19, Arrowstottle Lane. This is one of many signal gantries we're putting in. We've just used the Movac machine, as you just saw. We just put that in about 10-15 minutes, a 6-metre pile. The second one's going in now. Each leg has 2 piles. They take this down to 300 mil above the rail. And the leg of the gantry fits on there, and that's got adjustment slots to get you a bit of movement when you're setting it up.
Back in Swindon, work on erecting the booms that will carry the new cables is progressing, but high winds are keeping engineer Dave Brown and his team on their toes.
That was a little bit hairy at times. The wind picked up while we were trying to land it, so it was swaying around a bit. But the guys have managed to get it in, so it's good. Just got to bolt it up now. It's just making sure that everything's been doubly checked, make sure everything's safe. Obviously, these booms are quite heavy and could be quite dangerous if anything slips or falls, so we do have to double check everything. Hopefully it goes off without any problems. These things do take time, although it looks very simple when it's up. A couple of masts, a boom and a bit of wire. Each one has to be fixed to make sure that it's safe. Each one's designed to take certain loads in certain ways, so each one has its own little intricacies.
The team still have another 20 booms to erect before the Christmas work window expires and trains run again.
We've got a tight schedule next couple of days. If a mast's got a weld issue, if it doesn't line up correctly, then it'll take longer naturally, so that's the worry. It's just time's against us. We have got 12-hour shifts, but it goes very quickly, so that's the main concern for us.
In Oxford, they're also up against the clock, but their concern is more immediate. They've promised local residents that they will lay down tools for the Queen's speech.
Right, let's keep an eye on the time, lads, please.
Yeah, I'm just going to stop now.
Stopping now, OK.
Unless we can hammer this down.
Well,
Get a shot for it.
yeah, go on then. We've got 5 minutes.
Just about time for one more.
We'll just get this file driver down, give it a go, and then we'll have to stop. That's it. 3 o'clock, just done in time. Guys, we better put something over that hole to make sure no one falls down it.
Which one?
That big hole there. So we've got a canteen and mess facilities there, so everyone just get a cup of tea now for half an hour and back on again.
At Paddington, Richard and the rest of the Skeleton station staff have also briefly laid down tools, and it's a Christmas Day lunch with a twist.
Some grub. Hey guys, here we go. Obviously it's Christmas Day, so we're going to have traditional kebabs and some rice. But yeah, we don't normally get to eat lunch together because shifts and whatnot. The fact that there's no one around, it's a good opportunity to have something for Christmas.
I bet everybody's off today drinking and getting drunk, and we're here enjoying Paddington Station.
I might cry in a minute.
At Oxford, it's the turn of the heavy lifter. The specialist railway crane, the Kirov, is mounted on wheels so that it can move up and down the rails, laying down pre-assembled 60-foot sections of track, weighing up to 20 tons. It does in minutes what a team of workers would spend hours struggling to complete. Although it's a beast of a machine, it carries out precision engineering. Each section of track or panel must fit exactly in a pre-arranged spot. On hand to make sure the work goes well through the night is project manager Rob Mashford.
The panels basically is built in a factory and it's all joined up and it's all measured. We take it to bits again into smaller components into each of the panels, and then we bring it down and put it back together like a jigsaw puzzle. And then we finish by 4 o'clock in the morning, so yeah, we're all on programme. We're quite happy that everything's ahead of programme.
But as more track is laid, the smaller the margin for error. And this piece of the track jigsaw will not fit. so the team have to make a few on-the-spot adjustments.
You know, sometimes we have to cut the panels just to make it actually, work precisely on site. And it's got to be dead right. So you sometimes have to put a closure rail in, but on this occasion, they were able just to trim it and it fitted perfectly.
200 metres of new track needs to be laid before Boxing Day morning, when new teams will come in and put down fresh ballast. But a sudden turn in the weather means the 4 o'clock deadline could now be in jeopardy. In Oxford, new work teams are now on site, trying to claw back time after bad weather hit the installation of 200 metres of new track. Overseeing the final push is engineer Charlotte Moore.
The weather last night, it got rather windy, rather wet, which meant that we fell a little bit behind schedule, but luckily the sun's come out today, so it's much nicer, much better morale, but more productive, getting work done.
And the bad weather was not the only hold-up last night. A problem with one section of track left engineers working right up to the morning deadline.
So that took a little bit longer. We just had to cut a section of the panel off in order for it to fit. And it's all fitted, it's all in there now, and we've got the ballast trains just going over it all now. So within the wagons there's all the ballast in there, and it will fall out of the sides on here as it goes along, so it's an auto ballaster, which means it doesn't have to be done by hand. The only thing left to do now is to do the welding, which just joins the panels together. After that's happened, we've got about 50 to do, should take around 24 hours. Each one takes around an hour and a half to 2 hours. Once that's happened, the tamping machine will go over it to make sure it's all level, all safe for use, and then that's it. It will be commissioned back into use.
It's been closed for 4 days over Christmas, but Paddington Station is now opening again for business. Up in the control room, Richard Douglas is once again back in the hot seat. Over the Christmas break, he watched over a near-empty station.
So we had no trains Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and the 27th there's been no service.
But this morning, it all gets going again. Except that the train service is suffering from a bit of a Christmas hangover.
So the service supposed to have started this morning at 4:42, but unfortunately that service was cancelled, as was the 5:03 to Heathrow due to overrunning engineering work. The guys were still a bit late finishing off. I'm not sure what the reasoning's why, but so they're running a little bit behind. We've had a couple of late starts due to set for configurations, and we've also had a train that's gone out to 21 late due to a driver booking on late. So that's knock-on effect is that's meant we've had a couple of platform changes, but at the moment it's not looking too bad. Station's looking nice and tidy. Everybody's in place.
Down on the concourse, duty station manager Simon Butler is keeping an eye on the first day back.
So this is the first real opening day following the Christmas break. And as you can see, it's not too bad at the moment. Fingers crossed it stays like this, but it never does.
And minutes later...
8:50 Oxford's cancelled. Papa 19 cancelled inbound. So we've lost the service already.
After the holiday break, the station and its network are coming to life once more. While we were eating our Christmas lunches, thousands of engineers carried out 260 rail upgrades, including one of the most important projects of all, the electrification of Paddington's route. And that's meant that Richard has got all he wanted for Christmas, a brand new train set.
Before Christmas we're running on turbos, which are much older trains. I mean, they've got to be at least 20 odd years old. So new 8-car trains, shiny, greener, faster. So exciting things are happening.
And it's all go again at Paddington Station.
It's only just gone 9 o'clock. It's slowly building up to what we expect to be a record day. So bring it on.